Hey everyone, it is Evan here from the Trade Risk on Wednesday, January 29th. We are intraday right now, and this is our weekly trade ideas video where we bring you some of the names from our watch list, stocks that are holding up well, showing some relative strength, and ideally are not yet too extended in their move. As always, these videos are powered by our partners over at Investors Business Daily, curating ideas from their stock lists. You can get access to their stock lists with a link in the description of this video. So we got four names we're looking at in today's video, all four of them coming from IBD stock lists. So let's jump right into it. The first is LITE. So this one here, let's go to a weekly chart. You can see had been moving sideways for about 3 years, starting in 2017 all the way up to the end of 2019, end of last year, where this finally started to break through this resistance here and started to make new all-time highs, start to break out for a trend that has basically been absent for 3 years and start moving to the upside. And it did make some progress, got as high as about $84. It's in the process of pulling back now and really just kind of going sideways here. So when we look here at LITE, I always like when you get these smaller consolidations over a very large, kind of a bigger breakout or a bigger consolidation that just resolved in a certain direction. I always like when you get the kind of the second chance to get involved, to tighten up risk, and just potentially get established in the trade. LITE here, I like it with this sideways move. Let's see, of course, with today's action fading off of those highs, we'll need to give it some more time, but if this can start getting back above $80, this looks pretty good here, all things considered. Does report earnings in a couple of weeks, so do keep that in mind. But LITE, first name there, keep it on the watch list. Number two here is CDW. Now, if I just clear this up for a little bit, it's been sort of a popular name. Obviously, when we look here at this weekly time frame, it has been just one of the kind of picture-perfect trending stocks really since its IPO. It came out of the gate in 2013, and it has just been in a very orderly channel, very orderly uptrend for the past 6 years. And when we zoom in here a little bit closer at this recent action, you can see that we are starting to get a pullback here, and we've basically been pulling back for 5 or 6 weeks. And if we now go to our more annotated view here, you can see we've been rising in CDW in this most recent channel here since the middle of 2019, and you can see we're getting to the lower end of this channel, which is where we tend to find buyers show up, and we also have some horizontal support at this general zone as well. So if I zoom out here and just take a look, the lower end kind of comes in. There's a bunch of confluence right in here around 133. So if we can get kind of CDW maybe to pull back even further, and we can get into this nice kind of sweet spot here of around 133, we might get a low risk chance to sort of enter this historically strongly trending stock. CDW does report earnings in another week or two, so do keep that in mind. Otherwise, like the pullback opportunity here in this particular name. Next up is PRGS. So for you momentum chasers out here, Progress Software really ignited here at the beginning of 2020. It had about a 25% move from the low 40s all the way up to over 50. It since has cooled off quite a bit. It's pulled back about 12% of that move. So it has kind of reset itself, pulled back on lighter volume here. And I think it's just a generally interesting candidate here as we kind of spiked up there. MACD on the weekly chart still rising and bullish. So when we look here at the daily move, we can just start to look to see if we can start to put in some type of higher low here. So basically, looking at last Monday or this past Monday's candle, if this ends up being a low, if this ends up being a higher low, then we potentially have, a lower risk entry point, a place to measure risk against for this developing trend to emerge. So PRGS, like the potential here in this name. Last but not least is PFSI. So here, this is a financials name. It does report earnings in another week or two to as well. But we have a very tight, nice and orderly sideways consolidation here in this particular name. You can see today showing some nice relative strength, trying to get a new weekly close, trying to get a new all-time high close. If we zoom out here, you can see it's been a public company since 2012, struggled for the first 4 or 5 years to get stabilized, but now it seems to be off to the races. Good volume coming in here throughout the past last year, trading just under all-time highs. Nice tight pattern here. I like the setup here. And the cool thing about IBD's lists are that they are sort of quality vetted companies, right? So they do have the fundamental screens that screen for growth, quality, etc. So you kind of have that as your backdrop as well. And then when you get a nice technical setup on top of it, you certainly have the kind of sweet combination there. So PFSI, that's the last and final trade idea for this week. So hopefully you find something there interesting. Again, do your homework on these. Make sure they fit your time frame, your strategy. Nothing here should be a blind buy. You should always do your own due diligence on these companies. So thanks so much as always for tuning in every Wednesday. Trade ideas just like this. You can check back here, subscribe on our YouTube channel, or follow us at The Trade Risk. Have a great rest of your Wednesday.